Hello everyone and welcome to another console review with me, John Parker, and...
Me, Jack Cowling, and...
me, Cody Chronotis.
So folks, we are back with another Hands of Omega Tardis console review, and today we are reviewing the Type 50X. Something that I've always wanted to use, but never actually had the opportunity to actually purchase. So it'll be interesting to see what this one has in store for us. So John? No, sorry, I think it's Cody who's got the console, isn't it? Okay, do you want to go ahead and summon the exterior, and we can go and have a look?
I shall do. I think I set it to the right one. This will be fantastic if it isn't.
Ah, that exterior. I remember this.
Yes.
I purchased this as a separate one because I hadn't got the 50X, but then when Sen released those vendors...
Whoa, what is that bump mapping?
Whoa.
That's offensive.
That is seriously overdone. I'd have to say that that bump mapping, there is way too much.
It's a bit too strong, isn't it?
It's very bumpy.
Wait, hang on a sec. There's no bump mapping on the top.
Well, I was actually going to point out, you know where you got the top and you got like the little curved edge, right?
I'm just going to set that to no bumpiness. That makes me sad.
Okay. I've just gone through the wall.
What?
Actually, that looks a lot better now.
You went through the wall.
It does look nicer without it, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, and it's also stretched though. Look at the texture stretching going on there. I think that is...
Well,
yeah, it's just how the mesh was bent there, because it was probably done through the projection of the texture, because that wasn't fixed. Oh well.
If you
But
just...
there's some Z fighting going. Whoa! Look at the Z fighting there on the edge.
I was going to say, around the edge.
Is that because of the door? I can't click it, so.
Well, just a quick point.
Oh, I see. What the hell?
You know the top part, right? You know the curve. When you had all the bump,
yes.
well, the bump mapping on there, that part really stood out. I mean, you could tell because it didn't really mix.
I mean, bump that back because it was set on that one.
Yeah, see what I mean? You can just tell it. Well, actually,
Yeah.
if you go back to the angle you was at, freeze. Okay, move around a little bit more. No, other way. A bit more. See, if you stop there for a moment, see, now that kind of works. But if you're looking at it from the side, yeah, it's clear as day.
It's like and then boink.
Yeah, and obviously with the bump mapping off, it actually, well, it looks a bit better. It's.
I like it without it. I have no idea what compelled them to put it there.
It's on gravel.
I mean, I know. That's what it was on, John. I mean, I get the
Without it looks
mesh,
very nice and shiny.
but I don't see why they would use a gravel bump map, and it looks better without it. What are they thinking?
This Z fighting. Can you click on the doors for me?
I'm sure it's not part of the door.
It is.
It is part of the. Oh my god!
But the door should have been resized to the just over the container there, just so that it would be enough to go past that mesh line there.
I have to admit that would have been a very easy job to do as well. That wouldn't have been too difficult.
But as Cody did say, this is an old mesh. I think it wasn't really
better.
Yeah, it wasn't really.
Well, I was going to say, what's the age of this exterior? Is it?
Have you seen the ground part, the bottom parts? They've got the bump mapping on that as well, and there's a little.
It's even worse on the bottom.
Where?
If you cam the bottom, the very very bottom, and then cam under the ground.
Oh my god!
Yeah, but oh well, I'm just gonna put that to it's an old mesh.
I've just moved that door forward, so there's not the Z fighting. See how easy that was?
There is a little bit.
Well,
it just needs to be resized. That's all it is. It just needs to be resized.
It needs resizing or just moving forward, like I've moved it forward.
Anyway,
I do like the little phase effect.
Yes,
it is nice.
That's the exterior itself. I do like this exterior. It's very simplistic, and I like minimalistic designs.
Looks very.
I don't know what the symbol means though.
It's just Gallifreyan, I think.
Okay.
That's what I'll go with. Or it's Greek. Could be Greek or could be Gallifreyan.
Or it's none of the above.
Well, yeah, well that.
Well,
there's not really much else to talk about with the exterior, but
I'm intrigued. What is the specular set on this? It's just the old specular settings. So yeah.
That is why it just looked ridiculously shiny. 2013 though, so
fair enough.
It would make sense.
At the time.
Yeah. But mesh was quite new then, wasn't it?
I think
And I do
shyness
remember-
and bumpiness settings were new as well.
I do remember external mesh back then was everyone was still getting used to how Second Life's mesh system worked, because as it was still it was relatively new.
Oh my god, that's really ironic, John.
What?
I've just noticed that the floor of this building is Z fighting with the floor. Just going to point that out in the video, Mister. I point out everyone else is Z fighting.
Yep.
Where's that?
Zoom out a little bit.
Come up to the top of the exterior, you can see it.
Oh my god! That's terrible.
John, I am disappointed.
I apologise.
Yes,
Profusely.
I'm sure you should.
Well, that's the video ruined.
That is the video ruined. My point has been blown.
I've just noticed, John.
Hmm?
We don't
Yes,
need.
what?
We don't need no doors. We don't need no doors.
Why is that the case? What are they?
Also,
No.
Physics
that's
shape is
because-
set to none.
hang
No,
on,
no, it's
John.
probably because it was really hard to do the physics shape for it. As I said, this is an old mesh. The physics engine. Have you seen? You know how hard it is to upload physics.
So what they've done is they've set the physics shape to none, as opposed to making a cheap physics shape around it. Because how many? It's 4 land impacts. You could have put 2 prims on each side, and the land impact would have stayed at a reasonable level.
By the way, guess what? Guess what?
That's
What?
lazy.
I'm a jack in a box. Boing.
Do that again.
And boing.
We're professionals, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh look, I'm also a jack in the box. It's like a photo booth. Like sorry
Anyway.
guys, we're immature. Anyway,
Shall we go have a look at the interior? Hopefully that's
yeah,
going to
the
be a heck
actual
of a
main attraction.
lot better than than what's outside. Better in than out, as they say, or out than in.
No idea
right.
about.
Right, let's just open the door, which we've seen about 3 times now.
Click inside.
And then we'll
This
go.
is definitely the right one.
No! I don't want to fall. I don't want to fall. No. There we
You
go.
flipping idiot.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is what I've been waiting for a while. Oh, the door's a little bit screwed.
Why is my sun position set to ridiculous? The door, it does appear to be a little bit broken. What's that about?
Everything's breaking at the moment.
I don't think the console's powered up properly. Can we turn it off?
Off and back on again.
And on.
Simple way of doing it. Ah, there we go. That's a little bit better.
And,
Yeah.
and then open the door. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, by the
Um,
way, it's set to midnight. Because I'm pretty sure the lighting in this
There we go.
in this interior, from what I can remember, is quite decent.
Yeah, let me turn the lighting on. I believe it's that button. I've been using this console a lot recently because I've used it in a mod, so I sort of know where everything is.
You know, the one thing that always fascinated me with this interior in particular was the actual how many are there? We got the 2 extra like kind of mini rooms that we have. So we got the little I don't know what you'd call this, like a little
The fault locator,
yeah, the fault locator. There we go.
because it's a mashup of classic and new and that sort of thing.
And then we got the library. Would you call it a library? Do you think?
It's a lab, I think.
Where's the alarm?
Technically. Because there's references to classic Doctor Who in here.
Okay, I kind of want this console now.
You know what? This would be a good bar. This would convert this lab into a bar. Then that is what I call a house party.
I'll tear down my modded 50X, put the normal 50X up and put a bar in this room.
Yep. Ooh, what's this?
That is a crank handle. I shall show you how that works. If I go over to the power, and I turn the power off.
Uh-huh.
Now to open the door, we walk over here, we click on this,
Oh.
and it doesn't do anything.
Oh.
Good.
There we go!
Oh, that explains why the door was like that originally then.
That's why I said we needed to turn the power on, because I know it did that when you used the crank lever to open the door.
I've forgotten what story that was involved in, but I remember specifically in one of the classic episodes when the TARDIS was literally almost dead.
Yeah,
He got a
it's
little
one of
screw thing to open the doors with. Wow, that is okay. That is pretty cool. I like that.
This is filled with references to classic, because
I
one
have-
tab as well.
I have noticed that there's no power up or power down sound.
Yeah.
It's not a massive problem. Most Who consoles don't have them.
Oh. I'd have thought you could have had a really with this type of design. I'd have thought you could have had something really quite,
Yeah.
emphasised. Like that was a really weird sound effect for me to make.
Yeah, it was. And please don't do it again. But anyway.
That was top quality.
What I do like about this
Hey,
You
console
should go
though
and
is
work
the
for
roundels.
BBC.
I do
Yes.
like the roundels, and particularly this design they've got in the back. Is that using bump mapping? I think it might well be. I really do like those roundels. And this actually is, if I remember correctly, yes, this was built by Rowan, and I've always liked the way Rowan does her roundels on her consoles. They're quite deep, and they've got this like thing at the back sometimes and things like that.
There's actually something interesting about this console.
Hmm?
This console was released before the Opulent Corridor set, which came with wooden roundels that looked similar to these.
Yeah.
And then, many years later, along comes the Grace console that matches the Opulent rooms, which have always used the same roundels as this console. So it's all a big conspiracy theory, really.
What's the big conspiracy theory?
The fact that Rowan releases consoles that are all very similar. All very nice, but all very similar.
It's a specific design way. I mean, like many artists will have a specific way of doing certain designs, I think, and I'm perfectly fine with that because it gives you character. All of your creations then have that specific theme, and that's I do like that. That's fine. I've noticed that.
Grand. I like the very grand design. It's
and
yes,
it's also you'll
I'm
notice.
Important.
You'll notice with Rowan's textures as well. They always have these like I want to say slightly reminiscent of tortoise shell. If that's a good comparison, you know, like certain colours that will blend like this, a bit like circuit board colours, if that makes sense. I'm not very good at describing things, but yeah. So
Although
I like it.
Just
I like
said
it.
made all of the sense.
Oh, and stained glass as well. Stained glass. I do like that kind of design.
the point okay, I went downstairs apparently. You know the I don't know what you'd call them around the actual console. These metal bar things. These things.
They're very similar to the coral shapes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I love them. I think they're great. It's like a combination of things that you'd see in a classic console, Atlantis, and also like garden furniture or like a garden, but basically like a garden in a way. You know, it's just the way things are.
Yeah,
put together.
like where you'd hang plant pots and things from.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like an advanced yet classic. Oh,
I didn't
there
want
is
to click on that.
there's
Yeah,
the scanner screen. Oh, hello. There's a little issue with the faces on that mesh, I think there, because there's no smoothing on the texture, so you're getting
but-
this multiple faces thing.
but I already know that wasn't intended. That could be originally intended to be like that.
I saw that problem on the exterior as well, and if you look at the roundels, there is a slight, or at least I thought there was a slight. Let me just confirm my point here. Yeah, like here, some smoothing issues.
Well,
It's just how the roundness is smooth.
Wait, what?
But
John, there are no smoothing issues on the roundels.
They've used a texture
It is on that
for the
one, that one.
shininess on that monitor.
where?
The bit that it hangs down from the ceiling on.
Oh yeah, that.
If you look at it at the right angle, there's a texture on it.
Yeah.
That texture is in the specular,
Yes.
not on the texture. Which completely disproves what we were saying about how they didn't have those features when they made the exterior.
Was it made the same date? Yes, it was.
They were made at very similar times because they were released together.
But perhaps it was just that they wanted to use a low shine on the exterior.
Hmm.
I love the monitor though. The actual cut. It's digital like
The
a curved
curve.
TV.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
It is like it's bringing like home furniture into an advanced space time machine. The actual hover theme of the actual controls as well, the actual console bit, I love to bits. Especially underneath the pattern, the glowing pattern underneath it for each of the sections. I love it. It is it is a very nice console. The lights.
One thing, but we haven't actually looked at the actual console itself. We've been focusing too much on the room. But I mean, like, if you look at the console itself, I like the rotor, but I'm not. Sorry, I'm not an absolute fan of rotors like this. I never really have. I prefer either an up and down one, or the classic style, or the like a rotated one.
I don't know
believe
how this
these
one
ones
works.
rotate. I think
but
the
it's like-
outer one rotates one way, and the middle bit rotates the other. But I shall take off. There's also a little energy ball in the middle, which is quite nice.
Oh right, I see now. Oh, there's no takeoff sound.
No, this console doesn't have one. Or the brakes are off by default. It's one of the two.
No.
I'm hoping
See
they do
if
have a
I take-
takeoff sound because that's something that is more or less needed in most consoles. Whether it's not, it doesn't have to be the actual takeoff sound, but I'd prefer one to actually be there.
An indicator that you're changing
Yeah,
state, yeah.
yeah.
Because I mean, you wouldn't. I mean, even in real life, you wouldn't just have it where it's like. You wouldn't do that, would you?
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of sound effects today.
You are.
Carry on.
But no, the energy ball in the middle, I do like. Again, going back to a point you made, John, the stained glass as well
Yes.
on the
Good
rotor.
point.
So going back to your point on that yeah, I do.
Although, see, I would class that. I don't know how I feel about that.
What?
The transparency on the cylinder here, whether or not that's intentional or not, I don't understand how this texture can just float there. Like there's no shine on the transparency, and therefore it doesn't look like it's a glass cylinder. It just looks like the texture is just floating
Oh right, okay.
around the rotor. Because it depends on how it was done. Let me just check the face. Texture. Okay, so that's using transparency. Yeah, look, see, there's no speckle there. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a. Yep. Okay, that was a really bad idea, John. That was a really bad idea. You should not have done that. Why has that done that though? That shouldn't do that. Why has that done that?
That's terrifying.
That doesn't make sense. I put a blank speckler on you. Why on earth would you?
John's fucked it up.
I don't get that at all. That should have worked where... Oh. No, I don't get that at all. Oh well. Never mind. I thought you see what you're supposed to do, you see, is you're supposed to put a speckle on it that basically matches the texture. And wherever the transparency is, the shine would show through. So you'd have some sort of reflection wherever there's a transparent part, and wherever there's a texture part, it would also reflect, but of course at a lower level. And you'd get this glass look that had been like painted glass on. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah. Other than that, are there any other particular controls that we've not seen in other HWO consoles before? Or are they mainly just standard?
Technically they've been used in a lot of consoles. You've got the balls, these balls here.
Yep.
Basic animations that you've seen before in other consoles.
The cogs are good.
Oh, I like this, like 3 levers in one kind of thing. That's an interesting idea.
I'm not sure what those do.
It's very interesting. I can imagine how I would use that, putting my hand like... Weird. Unless you use one and they all move continuously. Basic switches. Ooh, I like the moon-shaped indicator lighty thingies. Ooh, and I like that shape as well.
I think the only controls that we probably wouldn't have seen on a console before this one was the flight lever and the power lever, because the rest of them are fairly generic in the sense that we've seen them other places.
So what's the flight lever and power lever?
The two on this console, the big red one,
That
and
one.
the three, that's your flight.
The 3, those two sets.
These oh fuck, these on the very edge.
Oh right, yes. Ah yes. Yeah, that's your flight.
Yeah. And then the power is the big one on that same panel.
Ah, right, okay. There we go then.
I like these little touchscreen things on the side.
What things? Oh,
These.
Funnily enough, I believe because this console was inspired in a sense by parts of the Smith 2, this was H2O's first console to have the side panels, but it was because the Smith 2 hadn't done it. But they haven't made that yet.
although I have to be an OCD critic and say that they are slanted. These controls are slanted, quite considerably as well. Although it is quite hard to position them at that angle, but they're also floating. But
Well, you could say they're holograms.
you could use that excuse, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have thought so, seeing as this is a digital panel.
But holograms are also digital.
And why that is a cube, and that one has no transparency on the bottom ones either. So that's showing through. But regardless,
There's nothing really specific down the stairs, is there? There's just the extra space.
No, it's just a very large room, basically.
oh,
Which I do like.
you could put something down here.
Yeah. Although
Apparently, I can't walk up the stairs.
No,
That is-
there's
not a thing.
physics problems with some of the staircases in this console. You have to like walk to one side of the staircase
Ah.
that's a
because
bit of a
otherwise
pain.
it doesn't work.
Oh yeah.
As I
Okay.
said, physics shapes in Second Life, horrible things.
Yep. Mesh outside, Second Life, and mesh inside is completely two different things. In my opinion.
I keep getting confused who's who.
Who's what?
I keep getting confused who's who.
Oh,
You're not the
oh
only
yeah,
one.
because which one's actual Jack and which one's the coding correct?
So I mean, other than that, is there anything else that we can talk about, or?
The only thing I can say is the cog design, very similar to Smith 2.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like I said,
other
this
consoles that use
was
them.
inspired by, I believe, that console. So they implemented it before they ever made a Smith 2 console.
Was that also in the Smith 1 console?
No.
I'm sure there was something to do with Smith. I can't know. It might just have been the Gallifreyan text on the glass in the Smith 1, ignore me. I like the rim lights on the console.
Yep.
And I've also noticed something else.
What?
And I think, but don't quote me on this, and I could be completely wrong.
Here we go.
But with Rowan's builds, I've noticed that there is very little of, or none at all, as far as I can see, use of ambient occlusion. But the mesh is all externally made. Which means, yes, she's done it so all of her mesh is not baked.
Right.
So it's basically, she does all the mesh, but she doesn't do any of the texturing. She just puts the faces in. And then when she comes in World, she puts all the textures on separately. Which is fine, you can do that, but it just means you can't bake the ambient occlusion on, which means you don't get shading. Which means if I look at this part of the console, for example, this nut here, like if I do that, oh look, the nut's gone. But you see, if there was shading there, you would see the shading of the nut around it, and you'd be able to see that, doesn't matter what angle you're at, you can see there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why people who use external mesh like to bake things, is because you can have that shading effect. But oh well, it's not a massive problem. I'm not saying it's a problem. Her builds are very nice. I'm just saying I've noticed that.
Also, before we go for verdicts, cloister bell.
Well, yes, put the cloister bell on then, Cody.
I think it's that button.
Oh, woo!
Oh,
I like the sound.
Damn it.
It is a nice. It's from Trial of a Time Lord. I do wish it would go red though.
yes.
Yes, or at least the rim lights
Yes.
around the console. That would be really
The
cool.
rim lights are on the console. The ones on the platform.
What
There's
is
a
that
lot.
wrong with them in
Which one's on
red?
the platform? Which one's the ones on the platform? That one.
See, like these on the rim of the platform, and then there's these here too.
Yes, like
Yeah.
if I select some of these, this is gonna probably break everything. But don't worry, we're not.
Yeah, you broke it the last time you tried to.
It did actually. It did.
I break everything. I don't really care.
All right, you select enough lights, just change
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. See,
That kind of idea.
they
Yeah.
could have done that.
That would be really cool. I mean,
But-
look at that, guys. That looks quite nice, doesn't it? But
But-
ignore the white.
It gives you a
Alas,
sense of urgency in a sense.
Mm.
but alas, HMO again. Forget about the red.
I
Why?
don't know whether I don't think it's forgetting. I think it just literally is. Let's go with the classic idea of the cloister bell. But
Yeah, I think it
their-
depends on design choice really. But this
Yeah.
this actually looks very menacing.
But that would be really cool if that was implemented.
Well, actually, I understand the whole classic side of it. You saying that, it does make me think, okay, perhaps that's exactly why they went for that, or didn't include it, should I say? But I mean, I don't know, the whole red, the whole red setting of the cloister bell kind of has become, iconic now. To indicate there is a very serious problem, not just in the TARDIS, but somewhere in time and space. So, do you want to give our verdicts?
Yes.
So for the
Well,
exterior,
for me, the exterior, I would say I do like the design. I do like the minimalistic design. Some issues with it: Z fighting, the bump mapping, the way it's mapped with the smoothness. So I would say a 7.5. Let's go 7.5.
okay. And for the interior, what would you give?
I do like the interior quite a bit. I love the design. Roman's designs are quite good. I do like them. I'm not a perfectly fan of the rotor, but some slight other things within my LCD. But those things are brush offable. So I will say I will give the interior a 9.
9. Okay. Cody, for the exterior, what would you give?
It's an interesting one because they didn't just send a police box with it when they could have done.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally don't like the bumpiness or the fact that it's ridiculously shiny. So I'm going to give it a 7.
7. Yep. Okay. And for the interior?
I actually quite like this interior because it gives a sense of regal, whilst keeping up the this is a very important vessel for travelling time and space. So
And I would definitely say this is
it just annoyed
presidential
the crap
worthy.
out of me.
I would say this is presidential worthy.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So I think I'll give the interior a 9.
A 9. Okay. Brilliant. So, I mean, the console is fantastic. The exterior is, I have to admit, a complete letdown. The bumpiness, which, of course, as all of us have pointed out, it's a significant part of the exterior, which is a major issue. That and the Z fighting is, well, ridiculous, because obviously that could have easily been fixed numerous of ways, bringing it forward, well, shrinking it just ever so slightly, not too much, but just ever so slightly shrinking it would have actually fixed the issue. But of course, obviously that didn't happen. So for the exterior, I'm going to have to actually give it, I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay.
For the interior, completely different scenario from the exterior. The interior is absolutely amazing. I love it to bits. Of course, a few bits here and there, physical issues. Well, really, other than that, there's not much else that I could fault this for. Textures are fantastic. The design, of course, is... Well, once you walk through the door, it's just hitting you right in the face. Therefore, you know. So, for the interior, I think I'll go with the same. I'm going to give it a 9. I'm going to go for a 9. Okay?
Okay then.
So, folks, that is the end of the Type 50X review. I'm thoroughly thrilled that I managed to have a look at it, explore it, and just get a good feel of it. It's a brilliant, brilliant console.
I would like to stress as well, guys, as I said in the previous video as well, you can, of course, vote this console yourself in a generic form using the card. And I'd also like, if you did like this video, please give it a like, and if subscribe if you haven't already, and comment on whatever you think about this console, or any other suggestions for us in the comment section below, and check us on social media as well.
Okay, so folks, until the next review, we will see you soon, and bye for now.
Bye-bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Thank you folks for watching. If you enjoyed, do please leave a like or comment below on this video.
If you want more, on Jack's side is the last video and the recommended video that we've suggested to you.
To stay tuned for more, on John's right is the link to our channel so you can subscribe, and also we have a link to our website if you want more information about who we are and what we do. Until next time,
Take care, stay safe,
and remember,
let your geek side out. Bye bye, guys.